want to go ahead and browse the Aptera website. I want to see, basically what I could find out about this car, because not too much is available yet publicly as far as like, first-hand accounts. So everything you want to know about the car, you pretty much have to get from Aptera themselves. So let's take a look. That's the homepage for the website. And the car looks nice. I gotta tell you, first impression, like I wouldn't mind, driving this at all. I don't think it looks crazy. It's not too futuristic, but it's definitely has a futuristic vibe to it. Even though this design is actually, 15 years old, something like that. It's about 15 years old at this point. It doesn't feel old, and they did a refresh on it. And they did a lot of lighting change on the outside, and some of the primarily is that, and I think some of the wheel covers, they made some changes to the wheel cover, so it does look a little bit more refreshed, a little bit more up to date. I definitely love those lights. Those lights in the front, man. I think that makes it looks really cool. All right, so we're just looking at the specs. Basically the car's size, it's about the same size as Tesla Model S. Yeah, and I know it seems weird, as far as you look at it and it looks a lot smaller than the Model S, and you're right and wrong. So as far as like the exterior size of it, from wheel to wheel, the length of it, the width of it, it's about the same size as a Tesla. But as far as the actual cabin where you would sit, so the actual cabin itself, it's significantly smaller. Because of the aerodynamics. So one of the main focus of this company, of Aptera, is getting you the most efficient car on the market. So they're not really like trying to give you the roomiest car or anything like that, although they do keep that into account. From I've watched different interviews with Steve Fambro and with Anthony, and I can tell you that they are concerned, about what it looks like, what it feels like to ride in one. But primarily, I can tell you their concern is to give you the most fuel efficient car out there. So, the size is it's weird because it's as big as a Model S, but a lot smaller than a Model S on the inside. So something to keep in mind. And it's a lot cheaper than a Model S too. So, just keep that in mind. All right, so cargo space is humongous. Like, this is crazy. 25 cubic feet volume is a huge amount of space. Probably the most out of pretty much any sedan that you'll find. Let's take a look. So performance. Let's see what we have. The all-wheel drive, 150 kilowatts, has 3.5 seconds for the 0-60. That's pretty cool. 3.5 on a 0-60. But the 100 kilowatt version would do the 0-60 and 5.5, which is still respectable. But a 3.5, that's right up there with the Model 3, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's up there with the Model 3 Performance, with the Tesla Model 3 Performance as far as speed. So, dang, I mean, that's some serious power. And top speed is going to be over 100 miles an hour, so that's pretty cool. As far as their safety rating, they haven't published anything yet. They're testing the Apteras to exceed the applicable FMVSS and NHTSA standards. So basically, they're trying to exceed the standards that you would get for a car, essentially. So that's good. Again, I want to see a lot more on that, because I want to make sure that these cars are going to be safe. I'm rooting for these guys, man. I'm telling you, when they came out in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, I was like, what? This is actually pretty cool. So it was kind of sad to see them go away, but I'm glad they're doing this again, and they're trying to stay focused on not just getting to market, but bringing a good car to market. So that's good. So let's take a look at the range options. Range options start from 250 miles for a 25 kilowatt battery to over, what are we looking at? Over 1,000-mile range on a 100 kilowatt battery. I actually want to experience that firsthand, because I think people would want to know. Like that's got me like super curious to see if they can deliver on this. 1,000 miles. 100 kilowatts. I mean, if you take a look at the design for the Aptera, so take a look at this thing, right? So I'm just gonna go back here. So if you take a look at the design of the Aptera, like, I don't know if I want to be sitting in that car for for 1,000 miles. But you know, it's cool to know that, you know, you could possibly do that. I mean, I could think of some applications for that, maybe, you know, for like maybe robo taxi services, that kind of stuff. But this is not going to be a fully autonomous car, so it's not going to be, you know, be used for that reason. But maybe there's other use for it that I'm not thinking about. Especially if it has two-way charging. You know, there's probably a lot of great secondary uses for having this size battery pack in it. But I don't know. We'll find out as time progresses what comes out of that. And this is cool. This is something I really like about this car. They have for under solar, they have what they're calling the never charge solar array, which is 3 square meters, 700 watts of solar power on top of your car. So I live in South Florida, so for me, you know, like it's almost, you know, you can almost expect the sun to shine just about every single day. So having this car actually would make you know, I would want to see like how long, you know, it would take for me to have to charge my car, you know, if I just leave it out in the sun. You know, like, I would like to be, I don't know, maybe like set some kind of Guinness World Record for, I'm just kind of joking about that, guys, but it would be kind of cool to see if we could set a Guinness World Record for how long you can have a car run solely on solar power, especially that it would be used, you know, practically for, you know, daily use. I'm curious to know if that can actually happen. Let's take a look at some other stuff here. It says self-charges up to 60 kilometers while simply being parked. So if you just park it somewhere, you can go up to 60 kilometers, which is what I'm curious to know what that is. I think it's about 35 miles, something like that. Let's do a quick search for that. 60 kilometers to miles. So yeah, about 37 miles. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so I want to see what that's all about. All right, so going back to this, let's see what else do they have. All right, so as far as where they're adding these solar panels, they're adding those solar panels on the hood, on the rear hatch, and on the roof. So that's pretty cool. Up to 24 miles of each, up to 24 miles of additional free solar charging per day. So 60 kilometers is not exactly 24 miles, but if it's just being parked. Okay, I see what they're saying. All right, so let's see what else. So what I'm thinking is, they also use the solar panels as a cooling system. It runs a cooling system for the car, so it's not just being parked all the time. So part of the energy that it's collecting from the solar panels is being used to run a fan to keep the car a little bit cooler. So I could see why you wouldn't get the full 30 some odd miles out of it. Or maybe they mean something else from that. I don't know. Maybe they need to clarify that a little bit more. If it's 60 kilometers or 24 miles, because that's, you know, two different things. So let's take a look for charging. Okay, so it looks like they can charge in a standard 110 volt outlet, and that'll give you 13 miles per hour. That's crazy. Like, I think Tesla, let's see what you would get off of a 110 volt per hour on a Tesla. Tesla 110 volt charge rate, let's call it. Yeah, you get about 3 miles per hour on the Tesla. So these guys can get you about 4 to 5 times more energy per hour from a 110 outlet. Just so you know, just in case you don't know, most people I'm sure watching this will know this, but a 110 outlet is basically what comes out of your wall, like your standard plug that you plug in your everyday devices, and not the one that you plug in your washing machine in. That's different. Or like your heater, water heater, that kind of stuff. That's different. But a 110 is like just about any other standard cord in your house, and they're saying that they can give you 13 miles per hour just plugging into that. So that's pretty wild. That's really good, very efficient. And look at this. If you do use a wow, if you use a rapid DC charger, you're getting 500 miles per hour. That's nuts. You know, let's see rapid DC chargers, what Teslas will do on that. Wow, that's crazy. All right, so let's take a look. Huh. 75 miles of charge in 5 minutes. Is that right? Is that right? Huh. That's pretty good. But either way, you know, getting 500 miles per hour is still pretty impressive. I don't know about this. Is that true? Yeah, it looks like that's the case. It's on the Tesla blog and everything. Model 3 long range recovers up to 75 miles of charge in 5 minutes. Wow, that is crazy. 75 miles of charge in 5 minutes. Alright, but this is not about Tesla. Okay, so let's get out of here. Wow, that's pretty good. Alright, let's go back to the specs. Alright, of course, yeah, it seats 2 adults plus a pet. So there's a lot of cargo space. That's one thing about this car because of the design. We'll go over that later. But there's a lot of cargo space. What else? It also fits 2 adults, so that's good. And it has a 15-inch touch screen. So you guys are gonna have to forgive me every single time I say the word touch screen. I always mess it up for some reason. Touch screen. I'm gonna have to say that 1,000 times just to get it right. Touch screen. Okay, well, we'll let it go. All right. So yeah, it has a 15-inch screen display, touch screen display. So that's a pretty good size. Let's take a look. Interior color, the exterior colors right now that is coming in are only let's see, black. So noir, they call the color their color noir, which is black, and then they have the Luna, which is silver, and Soul, which is the white one. Okay, so let's take a look. With black, so the black one comes with black satin body and black high gloss pillars and roof. Okay, so the Luna comes with high gloss silver body and midnight high gloss pillar and roof, and the Soul comes with a satin body and black high gloss roof and pillars. Okay, interior, let's take a look at the interior colors. Pricing is somewhere around 25.9, so let's call it 26,000 to 46,000. That's the range that they're coming in, depending on, of course, range and other options that you select on the car. The delivery dates. Ooh, look at that. We're looking to we're expecting to be accepting deliveries. Okay, you know what? Let me just simplify that and just say the delivery dates are for this year. So we're looking at 2021 delivery dates as of today. So we're in early January. So they're saying that if you buy one of these, if you order one of these, you'll be receiving it within this year. That's pretty good. So premium features, let's take a look. They have custom interiors, exterior colors. Let's see what else. So custom interior and exterior colors is good. Enhanced audio. I love a great audio system. So for me, I gotta have like whatever the premium audio is. And so enhanced audio gives you extra 3 channels of audio for sound depth and deeper bass. And actually for a car this size, if it has a nice audio system, that might actually make it. Well, again, I would never buy a car for the audio system, but man, that I could see how maybe the audio system could be a real nice experience inside this car if they build it right. All right, what else? They have the what they're calling the safety pilot. So safety pilot in their case is a level 2 autonomous capability system. So that'll be like what, lane changes, auto braking, probably those kinds of basic things. So maybe like, maybe lane changes, maybe some basic autonomy like lane keeping, probably like, most likely lane keeping. And I don't see it doing too much more lane keeping and braking, if I'm not mistaken, but we'll find out. What else? Oh, there's okay, so it's gonna have a safety divider, so that okay, so that's good because the cockpit. So right behind you is where the trunk is. It's kind of at your head level almost, and so they're gonna put some kind of a divider there so that things don't come flying at you from the back. That's actually a pretty smart idea. I'm glad they're already thinking about that, because I can see how that's gonna be a problem. You're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, the grocery bags just come flying at your head or something like that. That'd be a problem. All right, so that's good. What else? They have an integrated tent and rear awning for camping. So okay, so I can see, yeah, but that would be something that somebody out there would use. Probably not for me, but I can see why someone might want to use something like that. And they also have what's called the Take Aptera Off-Road and More ground clearance and tougher wheel covers. See, that sounds interesting to me. It's one of the things that I've been thinking about is those wheel covers, like, maybe having some aftermarket wheel covers. I know that messes up the aerodynamics a little bit, but maybe like different designs for those wheel covers, might be nice. I don't know. What else? Okay, we're done. So that's all the specs. Let's go back to Aptera. So let's go into the about. So the about page is going to have like the company information. So let's take a look at their vision. Aptera's vision is, as they put it, we are building an efficiency-obsessed brand because we want to inspire people to do more than just drive their cars. We believe super efficient, safe, fun to drive vehicles are at the heart of managing the Earth's natural resources for the sake of future generations. So basically, these guys are very focused on basically giving you the most efficient car possible, because their take on it is the most efficient car will consume the least amount of energy, which in turn will be good for the planet. So yeah, I can't go against that. That's definitely laudable goals. So good on them for that. And these guys, they do seem to be passionate. Like after Fambro left Aptera, before everything went crazy. After he left Aptera, he started a growing company essentially. So he could do like vertical farming, that kind of stuff. So and Anthony went on to do energy. So as far as like green energy, battery storage, those kinds of technologies. So I could see those guys are very interested in they want to build eco-friendly technologies. They do care about the future. So that's good on them for that. Other than that, Michael Johnson was part of the original Aptera team, in that he was part of Isanjay. And Isanjay was one of the original companies that helped fund the original Aptera. So it's good to see him coming back. So that basically tells me that as a most likely he's going to be the money guy. So as an investor, really, in the company, because he sees that even though they didn't quite reach their achievement the first time around, that the environment is good for them to make a second run at this. So I'm glad to see that he's back with them. All right, so looking at these different the other parts of the other employees for Aptera, so the design team, the mechanical engineer, marketing, I'm just kind of glancing through their profiles. I'm not seeing anything big. I do think Aptera is going to need to do a big marketing push to get this car into production. I think they're going to have to really get get people to trust in them again. And I feel like, just looking at me, just thinking back about this company and what I'm in, I think I'm willing to probably give them another chance. But I do think they need to do a big marketing push to because again, they have a car that's kind of unique, so if they don't really push to get these cars out there and get people's hands on them as much as possible, yeah, it's going to be hard for people to trust in buying this thing, because it feels more like science fiction than reality. Let's see what's going on in the news for Aptera. Okay, so the most recent thing is $100 million in orders, so that's good. That's very good. And they created a viral video, so that's very good. So they do post here. It looks like I'll say a couple times a month. They probably need to do a lot more than that. And I don't know. To me, like, if you want to get out there, you need to kind of like once a week, be having something to talk about. I think these guys are going to need to step up their media game. But I did see this video before, and I thought it was really cool. It's been a while since I've seen it, so maybe let's watch it. Maybe we could watch it together. Let me just see if I could put it on. So this was on December the 11th, and it looks like they launched a week ago, so that would have been around the 4th. And they have over $100 million in pre-orders, so that's good. That's good. But we all know, the deposit requirements are pretty low. It's only like $100, and so maybe some of those won't convert. But let's see what we can do. Maybe they can convert a lot more. Hold on, let me just watch this together. I gotta tell you, I like the way the car looks. So like, if you take a look at it, like just parked there. Hold on. All right, so just looking at the car, it just has a beautiful profile. Like it just looks, and I could just see things being modified. Like I would love to change some of this with vinyl wrapping and just doing some vinyl wrap designs on this part right here, on the wheels and the wheel covers. Essentially, I think I could see some customization happening. So it should be a customizable car. I like the design. I think it's a cool design. Like growing up, when you imagine what cars would look like in the future, it was something like that. Like almost like a bubble car. But again, this is it looks like something that I'm used to. Something with wheels, and it looks like something from science fiction. And I think when you combine those two things, it's actually they actually got something that looks presentable, something I want to get inside of. Now, one thing I am concerned about, though, I'm 6 feet tall, and I know they designed this car based off of it's called a DA-20. It's an airplane. It's a two-seater, if I'm not mistaken, and it's supposed to be a very comfortable small airplane, light airplane. But looking at the pictures of the DA-2, it doesn't look very comfortable, even though they say you can sit in there for a while. But look, I'm 6 feet tall, and I want to get into my car, and I want to feel comfortable. So I want to have enough room to, slide the seat back a little bit, pull it forward a little bit if I need to, recline some. I would, I need that. I need those creature comforts. I can't be walking out of the car and look like I'm stepping out of a clown vehicle. It's just not gonna do. That's not gonna happen, and that'll kill the vibe that'll kill it for Aptera as far as I'm concerned. They have to give you a car that you can get inside of comfortably and sit and be comfortable inside of it. I remember Jay Leno driving this, and he's a pretty tall guy, and he didn't complain about the size of it. So hopefully, that they have good measurements on the size, and it'll be comfortable. Now, something else that's important to this is I live in Florida, so in Florida,
just pushing the air.
Hold on.
Outside.
All right, so I live in Florida. I live in South Florida. And for us, the AC, the air conditioning system has to work, because I'm looking at all the videos that I'm seeing, and I think I see the windows are down in all of them. And I don't know if it's because it's a demo car, the AC wasn't working, or maybe it was a nice cool day, so they're like, hey, let's just roll down the windows. But I think having a nice working air conditioning system is going to be crucial for this car. Again, I'm in South Florida. The place is okay. So let's think about this, right? So they're selling us a solar powered car. So if it's going to be a solar powered car, it has to work well in the places where it's the sunniest. And the places where it's the sunniest tend to be hot. And so you have to give us an air conditioning system that works very well. So, I hope that makes sense. I'm not going to be uncomfortable, and I want to have a good working AC. And I think we all do. I think, the average person wants exactly that. So hopefully they'll be able to deliver on that. So let's see what else. It does look nice, though. It looks very nice. Okay. So the one thing I don't like about these windows is the separation. I know why they have it like that. I don't remember who was talking about it, if it was Steve or Anthony, who was mentioning that because of the aerodynamics, if they couldn't have this window go up all the way up here, because the lip size would be too large, and so it would mess up the airflow. I mean, honestly, I just think it would probably cost them way too much to do a curved window, something like that. But one thing, it doesn't matter. But the one thing I hope that they will address is the thickness of this piece right here, because I could see this being kind of like a weird curved blind spot, and not only that, but I just don't love the way it looks. It looks a little bit way too thick. If they could just thin that out, like right now, it looks like it's maybe like an inch wide. If they can get it down to like a tenth of an inch somehow, like I think that'll be good, because right now it's looking a little bit too thick. So if they could thin that out somehow and keep the structural rigidity and the other safety aspects of it together, I would find a way to thin this out for sure on the windows. It doesn't look so great.
It's a shame that today's transportation industry is so inefficient. You put gasoline in a vehicle, you burn it, and you only get about 25% of the energy out of that gasoline. The rest is just up in smoke, literally. We started with horse and buggy four-wheel technology over 100 years ago.
All right, so I'm not gonna watch this whole thing, but it looks. I've seen this, and you should watch this. You should go on the website and check this thing out. It's actually pretty cool. Oh, and also, if you're thinking about ordering one of these, I'm going to put a link in the description so you can get to the website. And right now, the deposit requirements to get one of these is $100. There's a $100 deposit if you want to reserve an Aptera. And I have an affiliate discount for $30 off. So if you go to the website, I'm going to put the link in the description. You'll see the little rewards button when you click on it, and it'll give you, the information as far as, what the this, somewhere along the way, you'll have the information for the discount. So you'll be able to get $30 off your order and only have to leave a deposit of $70. So it's, in case you want to order the Aptera, just keep that in mind, that you can just leave a deposit of $70 to get one. All right, so that was fun. All right, so let's take a look at their forum. All right, so going into the forum, it looks fairly active. It's not super busy. Let's see what's going on in the general discussions. Yeah, it looks like it's active. It's not super active. There's not a lot of, this looks like the last time someone posted something on there was about an hour ago. Yeah, it's 88 inches. It's almost as wide as a garage door. Is it still that wide? This is actually a pretty good question, because these are things that these car manufacturers have to keep in mind. Is if you're buying this car, you're gonna, most of the, I don't know, maybe if you have a garage, odds are pretty good at some point you're gonna want to bring the Aptera inside. So how if it's 88 inches, how big is a standard garage? Let's see. Single garage door size. Let's take a look at the width. Door width. So 8 feet wide, so that times 12, that's what, 96 inches. 96 inches. So this gives you an 8-inch clearance to clear a single. These are things that okay, interesting. So if your standard single garage is 8 feet wide, and you happen to have a house with a single garage, and the car is 88 inches wide, that's not leaving you, I get it, it's wide in the front and narrow in the back, but, you're not going to leave the two wheels, the two front wheels outside of the garage. You're going to bring them in, right? And, I don't know if you're front parking or back end parking, but you need to make sure you're not hitting any of the walls on either side. And you have a 4-inch clearance on either side. Like, are you able to open those doors? Because you have gold wing doors on these things. Like, can you open the doors on an Aptera in a single garage? Again, like this, these are questions that individuals are gonna have to answer for themselves. For me, I have a 2-car garage, so I have plenty of room to bring it in, and I would actually have a lot of room around the car because once the car is in the garage, on the back side of it, the tail side of it, it's pretty narrow. So I actually would have a lot more room than with a regular car. But if you have a single car, a garage, and you're trying to get in there, and you got 4 inches of clearance on either side, and maybe you're not the best driver, or something like that, or you just can't see that well, or maybe somebody left a toy in there. It's something worth considering, when buying one of these, and for the design team maybe to consider. So, all right, so let's take a look. So that's the forums. So that was, look at that, just going through the forum, and that was actually a pretty interesting find there. Okay, so let's take a look at their tech. Let's see what Aptera has to offer tech-wise. So they say leading edge materials and aerodynamics. So one of the things about this company, I remember from the first time they came around to doing this, is they were big on the types of materials. I mean, of course, aerodynamics has always been big with Aptera because they want the airflow. They want as little air turbulence as possible because they're trying to just dive like a hot knife through butter through the air. They just want to just slide right in. Okay, so that's the aerodynamics in this car. They've talked about a lot. They're big on it, and I think everybody who knows Aptera knows that. Now, as far as materials, I don't know if everyone understands what these guys have been all about. But from everything that I've researched on this company, there's 2 things they care about when it comes to materials. The first one is safety. So as far as I can tell, they're getting some of the toughest, some of the strongest composites made. But right along with that safety is weight. So they're looking for the lightest but safest material that they can find. So that's why, again, this is going to be probably materials that have not been used in automotive before. So I think when it comes to testing these materials under crash conditions, standard crash conditions, we need to know what the outcome of those are. Because we haven't used them like this before, and so we need to know what happens when these things eventually happen, unfortunately. So we need to know what happens when these cars get into an accident. All right, so let's take a look at let's keep going down the technology. So the materials, these guys are really focused on the materials. I can tell you that from before. I don't know how they're doing now, so I got to keep an eye on that and see what they have as far as information. So now going on to the next piece of information, the driven by the sun part. Okay, so research shows that the average consumer drives about 29 miles per day. With the Aptera Never Charge technology, you can drive 40 miles per day and up to 11,000 miles per year just on solar power. Again, that's compelling for me personally because South Florida, lots of sun, and I drive about that much a day. Sometimes, I'll say maybe a little bit more, maybe like 50 miles per day. But that's still really good, So, and besides, I'm not driving 50 miles a day just like round tripping it. That's each way. So I could drive, let's say 25 miles in one direction, leave the car out somewhere where it'll get some energy. Okay, so when it gets 13 miles per, if I remember correctly, it was what, 13? No, that's for the plug-in. It gets 13 miles per hour. But I don't know, whatever it's getting, it's going to be getting charged while I'm, working or whatever I'm doing. And then when I get back in the car, I'll drive the other 25 miles, and that will give it the opportunity to charge. So, meaning the time that I wasn't using the car will have given it the opportunity to charge. So it might still, I got to put this to the test and see what it's all about. I have to see what actually happens in the real world. All right, so this might actually be a first never charge. Yeah, we get that. So let's see how that would actually happen. So let's look at they have a chart here. Often do you need to charge your Aptera? So I live in South Florida. I keep saying I live in South Florida. You guys are probably like, okay, we get it. You live in South Florida. So that's region number 8. And how many miles do I drive a day? So let's go with 50. And according to this chart, I'll only need to charge this Aptera 8 times for the entire year. Wow. And just from a cord. I mean, I don't know if it's like if when they say from a cord, they mean like a 110, or if they mean like a supercharger or whatever, but a fast charger. But I mean, whatever it may be, that's pretty good, man. I go to the I go to the gas station, probably like 8 times in a month or something like that just to get gas. So all right, so let's take a look at the this is the aerodynamics of it. So ultra streamlined manufacturing. So this is about the manufacturing process. Let's see. With additive manufacturing, we can also scale production and launch new models with unimaginable speed. So they're saying additive manufacturing. When I hear additive manufacturing, I'm thinking 3D printer. And I don't know, maybe for like certain parts in the car, you can 3D print. But I don't think you can 3D print these. Maybe the composites. Like I don't know. I don't know what the process is for printing out these composites. Maybe I can look into that. But 3D printing, I don't think they're going to 3D print this car because they must be talking. Okay, I'm going to look into this materials, the additive materials, because I'm curious to know what's going on there. Should be interesting news. Again, these are more composites, so this is part of their the braking system. The rotor system, and it looks like it's going to be a composite build as well. So again, like how well do these things stand against stress, the heat, like actual road conditions. So we're gonna find out all this information, as we get closer to launch. But these are things to keep an eye on because that's going to tell us whether or not this car is going to be a bust or like some kind of the new Tesla, let's call it, for their space, whatever, for their market. So, because I think there's some opportunities for this car. Let's take a look at some of the frequently asked questions. Let's see what's there. Okay, so let's see what are the frequently asked questions. So general, what is Aptera? Okay, so yeah, I think we know technology. Will Aptera be available in Europe? Let's see. So their goal is to have this distributed worldwide, but they do acknowledge that not all markets accept their three-wheel vehicles. So I'm sure there's some markets that are not going to be able to accept their vehicle. But according to what I'm seeing here, it looks like the EU can certify their cars. So they may have to make some minor changes to their cars, but it looks like they should be able to get them into the EU. But again, we'll find that first things first is just having them build some cars and start delivering them to customers here in the US, because that's where they're based. But I'm pretty sure that they are going to be able to get these cars out pretty much to a lot of places in the world, because they're not very heavy. They are pretty big, relatively speaking, because they're wide. But because they're classified as a motorcycle in a lot of places, that actually might make it easier for them to get into a lot of these jurisdictions. Which leads to the next question, which is Aptera a car? And the answer is no. Aptera is not a car. Okay, they consider themselves the world's first never-charged vehicle, but technically speaking, Aptera can be classified as a motorcycle or an autocycle. So basically, these guys are focusing on having a car-like safety standard, but as far as how the government in the US at least classifies what an Aptera is, it is not considered to be a car. It is considered to be what's called an autocycle, which is basically treated very much like a motorcycle. So it's something to keep in mind. And why the three wheels? Again, these guys are the efficiency is their thing. So like I guess the three-wheel design just made it really efficient, and I'm sure it's working out for them in a lot of other ways. Because for instance, regulations are very different for a three-wheel car than a four-wheel car. Although they say that's not the main reason why they went with this design. What is it made out of? Okay, so the Aptera is made out of carbon, Kevlar, hemp. So carbon, Kevlar, and hemp are the primary materials. So those are a sandwich composite core. So that's, again, these materials can be very, very strong. And but you know, what we're trying to find out is, you know, are these materials strong enough for the application that they're being used in, that they're trying to use them in, which is as a vehicle? Are they safe as a vehicle? So we're going to find out. I mean, airplanes, I think, have some of the same materials, so they're tough materials. Is, you know, what happens in the real world of automotive when an Aptera gets on the road. So how big is an Aptera? 172 inches long, 88 inches wide, 57 inches high. And Aptera has 25 cubic feet of luggage capacity, so that's huge. They have a huge amount of space. For storage, it is a two-seater, and it is pretty wide in the front, although it's quite narrow in the back. So again, keep that in mind. Is Aptera safe? This is not a known for sure yet, but you know, that's something that these guys focused on before, and I would expect that that's going to be a huge focus on them now, because people want to know that. So other than that, let's take a look. They have the shop, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be for the pre-order, so I'm not quite ready to place a pre-order on this yet, but it's cool to take a look at some of the things that will be available. So let's take a look and see. Design your own Aptera. So they have the different models. Let's go back. Let's take a look. They have that's the white version with a black top. And it looks like there's a few solar cells on the car. Let's take a look at a different angle. Yeah, a different angle. This one has the solar panels on the hood as well. This is the silver version. I kind of like the silver version with the black top. It's kind of nice. Kind of like these accents over the wheels. It's interesting. I wish there was more lighting on this. Maybe that's aftermarket type stuff. They get to look kind of interesting. So let's see what else. I like the black one. It looks really cool, man. Like the black on black is just, it looks bad. Like it looks bad. It looks ready for everything. So I like this one, the black on black with the green accent, you know, and that's something to look at. It looks pretty bad. Look at this thing, man. It looks. I wouldn't mind being seen in this. It looks pretty good. The interior, wow, the interior looks like a Tesla design. And I remember when these cars first came out in the well, not first came out, but when they first introduced the idea of the Aptera back in about 2007, 2008. I remember looking at the inside, and it actually had a screen in there. I'm pretty sure they had the screen. They looked like this when the way before Tesla had their Model S. You know, so they look. I think if I'm not mistaken, Aptera is actually the first vehicle to have this minimalist interior, where it's just like a monitor, a steering wheel, and very few buttons. Like I remember the original Aptera, even the pedals, that had like a plus and a minus. So they had a minus on the brake and a plus on the gas. So the interior designs were always nice. This is super clean. I like that. Wow, I even like the blue exterior. I don't know if I'd be driving around with a blue exterior car, but it looks cool, man. I can see if you have a business, this might actually be a great business card to have to advertise your information on, because that's gonna, at least, you know, for the first 5 years until this thing becomes, if it ever gets mass popularity, you know, you're gonna have a very unique car. And when people take a look at, when they see your car, they're gonna look at it. So even if it's just for business use, this actually might be a good idea, just to have one and just have it parked in front of your business with your business information, or have it parked somewhere where you would want to attract people to your business. You know, because it looks nice. Look at this interior, my God. Again, this is just a mock-up, so this is not the actual interior, but I like the color combinations. Actually, it looks very clean. Okay, I see. So this is the front-wheel drive system, where you would have the motors in the front, but nothing in the rear. And they have an all-wheel drive system where each wheel has its own motor, and the rear has its own motor as well. So it looks interesting. So doing the tank turn in this should be possible. I think even with the front wheels, you should be able to do a tank turn with this car, because you could just reverse the spin, and I think you should be able to do a tank turn in this. So let's take a look. What else? Now, looking at the solar, these are the different combinations for the solar. So here's the solar roof. Okay, so the roof only has the solar panels on it. Here's the solar roof with the solar hood. And this is the solar roof, hood, as well as the rear hatch. Now they can cover the rear hatch. You don't need to have an open rear hatch like that for two reasons. One, because they are considered to be a motorcycle, you don't really need to have a rear view mirror on the inside looking out to the back like that, like a car would. But they still do have. I've seen this car on the inside. It does have the rear view mirror, but it's actually a monitor. So there's a camera back here somewhere that's recording what it's seeing from the back and projecting it onto the rear view mirror on the inside of the car. So it's actually a very cool design. I'm interested in seeing what these guys will come up with as far as design for this car. Again, don't forget, if you're interested in getting more information about Aptera, or if you want to leave a deposit, you can reserve now. I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video. Just click on that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. When you like and subscribe to this channel, that's what the YouTube algorithm is looking for, so they'll be able to share this information out with more people. I want to make a lot more content on Aptera, track their progress, see what the news is, all the ups and all the downs. I'm going to report it as I see it. So when you subscribe to my channel and click on the notification icon, you'll be one of the first to get updated on whatever new information comes out about this company. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.